Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by the new Insta 360 X5. It's the new flagship 360 camera from Insta 360 with 8K 360 video and enhanced low light performance for all day, all angle shooting, improved audio, 180-minute battery life, and user replaceable lenses that make it the most durable 360 camera yet. A new mode captures flat and 360-degree shooting simultaneously for instant MP4 sharing, plus 360-degree footage to reframe later. X5 is an instant classic, and it's perfect for action, content creation, and everyday life. It's like having a red in your hand, like a miniature red there in your hand, if you know what I'm talking about, filmmakers. So if you want to pick up yours today, go to store.insta360.com, put in our promo code. It's MAKEIT, MAKEIT, and pick up yours today. Again, that's store.insta360.com and use promo code MAKEIT to get yours today. And now on to the show.
No, I've had the AirPod, and I didn't want to confess it, but I did. I was like, it's on me. I did that. Are you confessing, Chris? Is that what that was? Yeah.
Confessing on your behalf.
It would be a Negro spiritual.
A Negro spiritual.
Over there humming.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Make It podcast. I'm your host, Chris Barkley.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Buggs. Happy to be here with you, brother. And I have to mention yet again this color scheme thing we got going on, man. Totally unplanned, and yet here we are.
Well, I think for me it's because so I wear black because I'm fat, right? and so it silhouettes me, right? Like until I lose this weight, I'm Johnny Cash, baby. Put me in all black. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm not doing this, man. I don't listen. I'm too judgmental to put myself in the position where I then get judged by all the people that like I like. And I'm not. Listen, Emma. By the way, we have Emma. Is it Emma Toner or Toner? How should we be pronouncing this?
Yeah, Toner.
Toner. Okay, Emma Toner. So we have Emma Toner with us, by the way. Emma, I'm not like an asshole judgmental person, but I do think people can make better decisions.
Okay. So you're talking about yourself, though. You're just saying people.
I'm talking about I don't want to fall in league with the I don't. So I'm wearing the black. Is it your life? Yeah, it's your life. If you go to the beach and let's say you don't have a beach bod, or let's say you're many leagues away from that, and you decide to, be nude. Let's say that. Let's say you're in St. Bart's and you're on the nude beach there at St. Bart's. Shout out to St. Bart's. That's not a thing. That's not a thing you should do.
Oh, really?
But it's on you. It's your life. It's you can do it. But I don't think you're helping. I don't think you're helping society.
Wow, quite judgmental. So what you're saying is you're helping society now by wearing black.
That's exact. Thank you, Nick. This is why we're brothers, because you understand the positive. This is the positive that's coming up. I am not going to bring culture down.
Okay.
By having like the bottom of my stomach come out.
Sure.
Hey, can we start over?
Let's do that.
And in welcome to the Make It podcast. Welcome to the Make It podcast, everybody. If you've been listening to us for years, this is right up our alley. By the way, joining us on this journey, on this podcast journey with us, are the usual suspects: producer Papa Bear and intern Sam. Fellas, say hello.
Hello. What's up?
Yeah, you have to actually say it out loud, because people have to hear it on the audio on Apple and Spotify.
They got it. Yeah, they got it.
They always do it's on YouTube, but they also have to hear you audibly say hello. Like, get excited, guys. Can we
Well,
do this
it
again?
was
With this, with
they
this, with
didn't
this
they
on
didn't
this
know what to
trip,
do.
with this on this trip, on this journey is producer Papa Bear and intern Sam. Guys, say hello.
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 There we go. Thank you.
We got it.
I felt
Yeah,
that. I felt
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I felt that one
I
in my
felt it
plums.
too.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And with us is entrepreneur extraordinaire Emma Toner, as well as being the co-founder of is it pronounced Galatea, or is it
It's
pronounced differently?
Galatea.
Yeah,
Galatea.
Galatea. See,
Oh, come on, man! You got to throw the accent on there. You
yeah,
know.
Galatea, which is I believe the number one reading app in the App Store right now, which is insane. She's also the chief innovation officer at Inkit. So don't let me spoil the fun. Emma, can you tell everybody more about those two things? One, the app, two, Inkit, and then three, anything else that's going on in this universe, because it's really exciting. And we're going to share so many cool tenets of what you're doing and how it affects writers and creatives in even the film space. So please take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. So yeah, if Galatea and Inkit aren't words that mean anything to you guys yet, I'll give you a bit of a deep dive. So Inkit is a tech-driven entertainment company. So we're using data to discover underground writing talent and then turning their stories into global franchises as books, as audiobooks, and now since the last year as TV series. And so once we discover a really cool story on Inkit, we then publish the stories on our app called Galatea, where we're A/B testing like various storylines. We're optimizing the story for engagement and conversion, and we're kind of taking A/B testing principles you'd see in product and applying them to story to narrative, which is like something that we invented and it's really cool. And in a nutshell, we're just making the story like the tightest, best version of itself based on reader insights. And then we can do that really quickly and really inexpensively in text format, right? Before we go and invest more money into it to release it in other types of formats. And so now what we're doing, once the story is really tight and polished, we're taking the top stories from Galatea and turning them into vertical TV series on Galatea TV, which is all part of our systematic approach to creating blockbusters. So if you're a book lover, romance lover, then you might know Galatea as a publisher of some of our top sellers like The Arrangement, The Millennium Wolves, Kidnapped by My Mate, Kaylee, the list goes on. And if you've maybe caught like the short drama bug, then you've likely heard of some of our most recent launches like His Nerd, Secrets of Sin. I'll shout out The Arrangement and Kaylee again because they performed wonderfully in both the book and the TV series format. And so yeah, I've been working at Inkit for 8.5 years, and I've really been deep in the publishing side of things for the last 7.5 years, and then this past year it's been a lot of fun for me getting to learn more about the ins and outs of film and TV as we expand our IP into other formats. And so yeah, what I'm really just most excited about right now is we're adding an additional step to our approach to creating blockbusters, which is for the first time ever, we're going to be having a red carpet premiere event for our story called Kaylee, which I mentioned earlier a couple times. We're repackaging it as something called Kaylee Homecoming Dweeb. And it's just a really big moment for us, right? Because we're going to be connecting with media and influencers, building out some really, hopefully, genuine organic buzz about our content, and hopefully solidifying Galatea and Galatea TV as a first stop for romance writers and romance lovers. But beyond the event, which is going to be hella fun, and I'm really excited to go and party and have all the good times. But I think what's more fun is just what this represents for us as a company as another step in our systematic approach to creating hits. So for a second, I just want to deconstruct the steps that led to this premiere event, right?
Please.
So Manjari is an author that we work with. She's the author of Kaylee, and she started as a reader on Galatea during COVID. She's based in India. She was bored. She was stuck at home. She's like, let me start reading some romance, right? Was really reading, loving it, consuming a lot of content. And after several months, she thought, why don't I just try to write one of these, right? I'm really enjoying reading it. Let's see if I have the chops to write something. So she wrote her story. She published it on Inkit, and it really quickly started to gain traction. Readers were loving it. And so we signed a publishing contract with Manjari and moved her book Kaylee to Galatea, where then we shaped it and we tested it and we turned it into what it is today. And then soon after we launched on Galatea, we saw so much engagement that we greenlit it really quickly for Galatea TV. And what that led to was like the book and the short drama vertical series were going viral at the same time, which is like really cool and really unusual, right? To have a book and the TV show like having their moment together. So it's been really fun to watch. And I think that like that kind of trajectory for a reader to like, you know, a reader to a breakout author to like a red carpet in 3.5 years, I think is just magic. And yeah, we're like discovering talent and building creators and just doing it like really, really fast. And I think, in my humble opinion, I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool too. I have so many questions based on that, but it is this thing that a lot of creators talk about, which is how do I create a new lane for creative, right? Like if I don't want to play the game that exists, and if I'm not accepted into sort of the gates of the game that exists, if I'm not invited in to play with everybody else, do I just quit? Do I just stop my creative? Do I just do it for myself? How do I actually get things made? And, in this industry, we meet people like that every single day that seem so far away from being able to produce a film, but they've been working on their script for a long time and they think they have a really good story. So let me just start with the basic stuff first before I go into the system. Where is remind us again, so the date's June 5th, the movie's Kaylee. Where is the red carpet event taking place, and what time? Can anyone join this or go to this? Tell us some details about this red carpet.
Yeah, so it's happening at the Save It Theater in LA in Beverly Hills. And it's a really kind of beautiful old theater. It looks very gorgeous.
Yep.
We're going to have the red carpet. We're going to have a bunch of activations throughout the theater. So we're going to have like a spray wall, like a stoner's corner. We're going to have like, beers in paper bags and have like drip markers and people spraying there. We're also going to have like a friendship bracelet station that's like centered in her bedroom. And we're going to do like, it's a homecoming themed film. So we're going to have like cheesy homecoming photos and stuff being taken. So we're gonna have a lot of fun activations throughout like the pre-drinks, the like post party, and then watch the movie, and then we'll have a panel with the author who's flying from India, as well as the director and like key cast and like myself. So it's gonna be a really fun event. So June 5th, starting at like 6 p.m. in LA. We haven't quite figured out yet if we're going to open up ticket sales to the Gen Pop because we want to just we have to see how many like other types of people and media and influencers we can get like butts and seats. But hopefully we have some extra seats, in which case then we open it up to anyone who wants to be there.
Got it. So cool. Is this a screening? It sounds like there's going to be quite a celebration on the front end of the screening, and then most likely you usually celebrate pretty hard after a screening completes as well, in my experience. But is this a screening to sort of commemorate the production, or is this also serving as a test screening? Like, so will there be people in the audience that are there to sort of view the film and critique it and to give you notes on final cut?
Yeah, so the pictures, like the film is locked, it's going to be like ready to go. We're just distributing it independently on Galatea TV. So like this version of the film, we're going to release it ourselves. So we're not going to release it with other streaming companies or do like a theatrical run. So this is kind of just like our big moment of like, we're here, look what we're doing. And hopefully with a lot of the influencers we're getting in the seats and stuff like that, just to get, our name in people's mouths. So really like, we want people to know about Kaylee. We want them to know to come and download the Galatea TV app as a place to watch this film and just like make a big to-do about the content itself. When we launched Kaylee on our vertical TV series on our app, it's been like, we launched it in August and it's had like more than 300,000 hours watched since then, like more than 12 million episodes watched. It's been like a really big moment, which is why we took this next step, right, of creating like the feature length film. So like, it's just, it's having a moment. It's really organic. People love it. And so we're keeping it in our ecosystem, but just leveling it up.
And I love the fact that you're making it an event. Like that's really cool to me. That it's like, it's not just a premiere. It's not just a red carpet. No, this is an event, right? You're bringing all these storylines in and you're making it a big thing. Like you said, it's a culmination of all this work. And I think that it's really cool how you continue to extend that creativity even into the premiere. So it's not just like any other premiere, right? It's a Galatea premiere, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's like, look, I think everybody works so hard to make a movie. Making movies is so difficult that you need that woosah moment. You need that like exaltation moment where you're like, look at what we did on the screen. I did hear you earlier say that it's going to premiere vertically. Talk to me about is what is a
Yes.
vertical? Are you talking about vertical in the business sense or literally vertical orientation?
Vertical orientation. So I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of these like called the short dramas, but they're having a
Yeah.
huge moment right now in the US, and it's
And
vertical
and
video.
in China.
So oh yeah, yeah. It's been huge in China for about like a decade, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
like come over to like our side of the world, right? And so
Mhm.
it's massive. It's projected to be a $10 billion industry by
Mhm.
2028 in the US. It's huge. You know, these top apps are making $30-40 million a month through the revenue they're making through short dramas. And so for us, we always knew we wanted to get into like film and TV. And when we signed publishing contracts with our authors, we're signing those 360 rights. So we always had the rights to like pursue this, but we were just never able to find like a way to do it that made sense for us. We would get the occasional offer from a studio being like, hey, you know, we want to buy this story or these film rights, but they're offering like $25,000 for those rights, and we're like, we just don't believe it's worth giving up IP for 25K, right? And
I think
so
you're right.
about like just yeah, so about just over a year ago, we saw that these vertical videos were having a moment. We saw that they looked really really cool, and we saw an ad for another app, and I was like, we can do this. Like I don't know how to make a movie, but I can figure out how to make this, right? And
That's
so
interesting.
yeah, just basically found some external production companies that we could work with, and they could show us the ropes. We've built out like an Inkit Media, like an internal production studio since then. But really, we're just like, how do we do this? And the unit economics are right in terms of like how much it costs to produce an hour of vertical content when you don't need to like dress the whole room, and you can use like one
Can you share
camera
how
and
much
all
it
of these
costs to
things.
produce an hour of vertical content? Can you give us an approximation?
Yeah,
Well,
it's like between like 180 and 250K for an hour of content, which
okay,
is
so
quite reasonable.
indie film prices, let's say ultra low SAG prices, but with this massive upside,
Yeah, and we're
that's crazy.
yeah, exactly. And for us now, just like, you know, the money we're making through the app is like insane compared to like what we were being offered from these studios. And it's we've been seeing explosive growth. We're making, you know, millions and millions of dollars every month through this content now. We only have 27 shows on the app right now, but we're launching a new show every single Friday. And since we got into that rhythm of launching a new show every Friday, we've just been seeing like explosive growth, and people are really loving the content, and people are on their phone all day every day. They're very used to consuming
Yes.
content in this
Yes.
vertical format. um, and then, yeah, coming soon is this next step of like feature length horizontal. We have started shooting everything square so that now we have the option to do both vertical and horizontal, because we want to give ourselves like more space to do like living rooms as well. But when we started, the first 20 shows we did were just vertical, and we did something for a while called vertical, and now we're just shooting everything square so we have more flexibility.
This is fascinating to me, man. Like, so, Nick, I think we talked about this before. So every person in the world has their like story they'll tell you about the thing they should have invested in that they missed on, and they would have been a millionaire or a billionaire, right? Like, I was really really early on Bitcoin, and I just didn't know what it was and just said no, but I was like, pitch that. And really early, like when it was 35 cents a coin or something insane like that. um and every single person I talk to has a story like this, right? um so about a year ago, someone pitched this to me. They said, we're grounding up producers to make this kind of content. It's blowing up. It's making tons of money. Do you want to do it? And I just was like, I don't have any expertise in that. Like, I don't think I would do a good job. Like, and also, is it a film? What is it? And we just come off Quibi, and it's like, oh, here's Quibi again, just repackaged. no, I don't want to do it. And so maybe this will end up, Emma, being one of those stories where it's like, God dang it, I should have produced some
It's
vertical
already
movies.
one of those stories.
It's already one of those stories,
So
right, Nick? So
yeah,
yeah.
so I was just thinking. So Emma, this is again, it's very cool, and like I think we're feeling your excitement through this conversation because you're seeing it. You're seeing it going from. I mean, it's one thing to go from a writer to a feature, but to go from a reader, like that has to be
Mhm.
super exciting because it's like your platform created a writer, right? Created a creator because they were consuming so much, they loved it so much, and they tried their hand at it. One of the questions that I have for you is that did they have to produce that full entire book? Or was it like, I'm going to put out a part of the story, and then that's where you grabbed onto it and says, oh, okay, you've got something going here. Let's then build it into the full story. Then it turns into the TV show. Did this person write the whole book day one?
Yeah, so it changes case to case. I believe in the case of Manjari, she had written the full book or like the first book in the series when we picked it up. Now there's 3 books in the series, so we fleshed it out a lot over the year. But definitely tons of authors that do write on Ingot, they just write the first few chapters, and
Right.
smart writers are really good at interacting and like activating their audience and helping their audience kind of not co-write the story, but they take a lot of insights from them. So a lot of writers will write up to a certain point and then ask for feedback and be like, did you like this or do you like this and where should I go? Because obviously when their readers feel more involved, they're going to engage more, which kind of like helps influence like the virality of that story. And so a lot of writers too, like I know I speak to authors who are like, they get really frustrated with their male lead, for example, and they're like, I am sick of this guy. I want to kill him off. I'm over him. And they'll ask their audience, be like, would you mind if I kill off Xavier or something? And the audience be like, oh my God, don't. Like, I'm in love with him. I'll abandon you and I'll leave your story. So then they kind of kill them quietly in their head and write the version of the story that the people want, which is really cool, right? Like, historically, when you write a book, it's like you spend years of your life writing it, you hand it over to a publisher, and you just sit back and wait and see what happens. So the ability to get that live feedback and to change the story. And in the Galatea app, we have a team called Story Intelligence where we're testing different storylines with real readers, right? So if like the 5 of us showed up to a story, we might all get a different version. We're all getting like 20% of traffic. We're all going to a different variant of the story, and we're seeing what people are engaging with. How fast are they reading it? Are they converting and making a purchase at the end of reading that chapter? And we see what cliffhanger is best, what pace is best, all of those things, and then change the story. So like the story that someone reads today and the story someone reads 3 months from now could be different. The foundation's not going to change. The core moments aren't going to change, so we can still have a conversation about it. But there's certain elements that will change, just about like getting people to convert. So I think that's so cool, is that you can make those changes live and give authors that feedback. Like authors are so hungry to know these insights, which like previously they never had access to, which is cool.
So Nick,
Very cool.
I don't want to step on your filmmaker Q&A at all. So if I do, just please forgive me. But I just have to know. So when you're making this sort of transmutation from a story, within Inkit to making a TV show or a short film, or a feature film in the app sort of vertical format, are you having someone come in, or is the writer themselves coming in and putting this in screenplay format? And where are you finding your acting talent from?
Yeah. So when it comes to writing the script, like adapting the story to script, we have a cool script writers that we work with frequently. We also
Ah,
have like a marketing partner from our internal team and someone from our story intelligence team. So we do like a kickoff call where there's like the creative development exec, someone from our SI or story intelligence team, someone from the marketing team, and then the writer. And so we have this kickoff call. We get everything really aligned, and then we have a writer write. We pass it back to like the original author to see it, give feedback, these things under certain conditions of like speed. And we're from the day we decide to publish or to produce a movie to the day it hits an app is 4 months. So from the day we start writing the day we start reading the book is 4 months, right? So it happens really quickly. And we talk about Quibi, like these are the things that they did wrong, is they spent a ton of money and they spent a lot of time, right? To make this work with the unit economics, you have to do it cheap and fast, right? And so yeah, we want authors to get as involved as possible, but they have certain dates they have to turn in feedback by and whatnot, which they're all very lovely and excited and happy to like fit into those timelines so far. So yeah, we have scriptwriters that write. We're building out a pool. We're kind of like, circling in ones that we like, ones that we don't like, but we have a pretty solid pool right now that we work with. And then, sorry, I lost the thread on the second half of your question.
No. Where do you find the acting talent? It's all good.
Yeah. So we have a casting agent that we work with. Usually we do like a worldwide just like casting call to start off with. We're doing non-union, not SAG, for the sake of like, again, price and fitting into our budgets and whatnot.
Sure.
But it's really cool. Like this Kaylee movie that we're talking about, the lead actress, Shannon, she came from just like a worldwide casting call. She applied. She'd never acted before, just kind of put it in a cold call. She's insanely good. She's absolutely amazing. She's never acted before. We did this feature length film with her. I know she's got like a few calls from Nickelodeon now to like go on to the next thing. So it feels like in a way the same kind of joy we get out of like discovering hidden talents when it comes to writing. We get to do that again with acting, which is quite fun because we get to also blow these people up, and people will be in on one of our shows and suddenly they're following on Instagram like skyrockets to the roof. So we also have this kind of fun way of creating these little celebrities within the community as well.
This is fascinating because what Jeffrey Katzenberg tried to do with Quibi was take the movie business and throw that model into tech. And for all the reasons you mentioned, plus some, it didn't work, right? The money's through the roof because he wanted to use the movie model of you need talent, like a name, a star, basically, to drive to every show. So, if you want to get Justin Timberlake in a 10-minute short film, you're going to have to pay Justin Timberlake a lot of money because this could be damaging to his current career to do it. So his agent's going to negotiate insane money. They knew that you had Silicon Valley VCs behind the whole thing. There were a lot of banks involved. So they knew they could get the money. But if you take your process, it's like, let's throw tech into the movie business. Let's throw the sort of the tech app building model, the Silicon Valley model into movies. And it's had these really interesting effects so far, just taking your word for it, right? Like there's no reason not to. It's like by utilizing understood methods of scale, for example, you're able to find a first-time actress who's a natural that would take Hollywood 30 years to find because it's slow and they bet on known entities over and over and over and over again. You can put out a global casting call and find the next Meryl Streep because she's hiding somewhere in, under a rock in Indiana or something, right? Like it doesn't have access to, all the other tools of discovery. The same thing with the budget and doing it off SAG. Normally off SAG means, you're going to have a lot of trouble making a movie that's successful. But for you guys, you've turned a weakness into a strength using, again, sort of the move fast and break things model. It's really fascinating. Congratulations on everything.
Yeah, crowdsourcing everything. Like that's what's really cool to me is just that everyone probably feels like they're a part of it. I think we talked about the success of the system, but I think that I'm sure you're probably getting a lot of joy from the audience reaction, like taking it from that story that they read to now the split testing and seeing different models of the story and then seeing the short film. Like that has to be exciting for the audience. I mean, I would love that, right? You go from that book that you really loved, that story that you loved, and now you're seeing it, right, with actors on screen, and it didn't take 10 years for it to happen, right? The adaptation didn't take a generation. It's very cool. And I think that the audience is probably, really loving that whole system you've created. So I can see how the whole thing is exciting, like
it's
all
a
the way
growing
around.
audience, Nick.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, but they're a part of it.
It's a
They're
growing
a part of the
audience,
journey, which is really cool.
We have an intern that works with us that I think would eat this up. And it's not intern Sam, but there's just like, you know who I'm talking about, Sam.
He's eating something else, that looks like.
Yeah, shout out to Sophia. Sophia would eat this up. She might already be on.
She would.
Right,
She'd like it a lot.
And there's a lot of people like Sophia out there, like a growing number of people like Sophia that have been born into the internet and are living out that space, and it's so natural, so second nature. You mentioned this earlier in the conversation, Emma, like people spend all day on their phones. Well, old guys like me don't, but I'm finished. I'm over. No one's making a product for me unless it's like a diaper or a Cialis. Like that's not a thing that's happening right now. Like the world is Sam's and Sophia's and like the other people that we work with that are young people that are like so accustomed to having that device in their hand and are an absolute power users on it. So why not watch a film on it? So anyway, this is super fascinating. Let's move into some audience polls with intern Sam. Sam, can you drop some polls on us?
I can indeed. So I'd like to take a moment, though, to say that audience polls, this segment, is brought to you by the Make It bookstore, which is now available on bookshop.org. Chris and Nick have dropped some of their all-time favorite book recommendations that they think you should read. You can find the link below and on our YouTube profile description. Check it out. It's a great place to buy books. These are great recommendations. But without further ado, let's take a look at some polls.
Yep.
So for the first poll, pretty simple. I thought it would set the tone.
Can't miss these polls, Nick.
Mm-hmm. Come on, what you got, man?
Digital or physical books? So which one do you prefer reading?
Okay.
Physical came in number one.
Wow. Okay.
86%.
86% physical books, huh?
And this is novels, by the way. This is novels. Okay. And then digital, 14%.
Okay. Do you think
Interesting.
Sam, Nick, PB, Emma, do you think that people are doing that thing they do when they want to seem a certain way?
Tell us about it, Chris. We had this conversation the other day. Tell us about it.
Like people aren't giving their actual true behavior. They're giving the behavior they wish they did, or they will say the thing they wish that. So I have a razor. Let me just talk about, can I talk about my razor, Nick?
Yeah, you got to explain to people what a razor is.
Not the one
right?
for my face. But like, but in philosophy, you have these things called razors, right? They're just little aphorisms, little quips that just happen to be mostly true, right? So my razor is that people who wear screen printed t-shirts like the one I'm wearing, like the one Nick is wearing, it is not who they are, it is who they aspire to be. So I'll say that again. If you're wearing a screen printed t-shirt, you bought it because it's who you aspire to be, not who you are today. So if you see a woman walking around with a boss bitch t-shirt, she's not a boss bitch yet. Emma's the boss bitch. She's the one she's the real one. She doesn't need the t-shirt. She's already there. You see, if you see a kid that doesn't look like he can play basketball and it says buckets all day, Nike on it, he doesn't get buckets all day. He wants to get buckets all day. So these people that say I'm a book nerd. You want to be a book nerd. You're working towards it, but you probably would listen to a book before you read one because of what I just said. I grew up with books. Okay? I've got it in my hand. I've got it in arm's reach. This is what I do. Everybody I know that's my son's age, he's 22, they listen to books. They listen to them. Some digital form. They either listen to them or they read them on a Kindle or on an iPad. But that's just my opinion. I'm not saying that physical books wouldn't have won, Sam, anyway. But to win 86% to 14, you've got some people who are projecting. Nick, thoughts, concerns, disagreements?
It's so funny, Emma, because this is one of those things you think about your audience, right? And Chris is so quick to say, come on, you people, you are lying to yourselves and you're lying to us. And the truth of the matter could very well be that you have 86% kindred spirits out there
Yeah,
who
maybe.
are reading physical books and they love it. And you should embrace the truth that they are giving you. And they're saying, Chris, we're here because we're with you, man. You know, we're physical book people. Now, I will say that there's probably a little bit of that, which is I think we talked about this the other day, just people carrying books with them,
Yes, there's people that just carry books.
but they're actually reading them online in some digital way, right? Because there is something about the artifact
You
of the
open the
book
book,
itself.
the pages are cut out, and inside of it
Is a
is
cell
a
phone.
brownie.
But, you know, there is something to also the artifact of the book. I think that that's something. It's like watching a movie
Yeah.
in, you know, streaming,
Yeah.
and then saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and buy the Blu-ray, right? I'll buy the DVD.
Yeah.
I might be more inclined to watch it, you know, in a digital streaming format, but I also want that physical thing. So there could be a balance of that as well. But
I'll call
it's
I like that
interesting to
last
see
one, that Blu-ray one, Nick.
Yeah.
I'll call myself out on that. Right. So for the listening audience only, a moment ago, I held up a book and showed everybody the book I had or whatever. It was Milan Kundera, the joke. Here's the deal. With Blu-rays, I will go to like Criterion Channel and I will buy like the souped up marketing version of the same movie I've seen in Blu-ray in 4K, and I will buy it. And it will be $50. It'll be $35. And what is that about? That's the bullshit. That's me projecting to guys like Sam. Hey man, I care about movies.
Well, because Chris, you know, as I did, $35 on Wicked 4K
Yes.
2 months ago. You need to project to me. You know,
Right,
if I'm your audience, right?
Yeah. So I mean, and it's not just to you. Like it's to every. Like it's the whole thing that we're all playing sort of cosplay, right? And it's like, who are you dressed up as today? And are you dressed up as the guy who loves film or the girl who loves film? How does that really look? Are you dressed up today as the person who loves YA novels or the person who loves like the new Michelle Obama book or whatever it might be? You got to walk around a populous area with that in your hand. If you walk around a non-populous area, there was no point. You could have left it at home where you actually read it. But you wanted to show, here's who I am. Right? This is what Tesla is going through right now. To be frank, here's a car company that makes incredible cars. They're objectively better than every car. But when the CEO, who has no business training, acts in a certain way online, you no longer get the feel good that you got back in 2016, 2018, when he wasn't doing that or was on a different team. Same car. Car didn't do anything to you. Car didn't say anything. We buy a car. Most of your experience in the car is on the inside. People don't see that part. They just see the outside. So you're brand projecting, right? Although I do find people that drive CRVs, I apologize to whoever does that or has that on this call, they do have a certain way about. There's a certain person that owns a CRV, and it's a big problem.
Yeah. Well, we might just have to skip over that. And I was just gonna say,
we got
I got
that's
Emma.
a million.
I got Emma. I got two
That's a
things.
billion
I got
people,
two
by the way.
things. One thing is that Chris's version of cosplay would not
Oh
win
my
any
God.
awards at Comic-Con whatsoever.
Oh my God.
And then secondly, Emma, like what do you think about that? Do you think that poll
You don't know,
sounds
Nick.
about right? Like, do you think that would
You don't know
like
what's in my
that's
closet.
legit?
Yeah, I would say that like preference, it probably is their preference, right? For me, like a physical book is I'm on holiday, I'm laying on the beach. Of course, it's my preference to put myself in that zone of reading a physical book. But practically, like I also want to read when I'm in bed and on the train and on the toilet and whatever it is, right? So I also want books that are in my like constantly on me, right? And those are books that are in my phone. So I think like preference versus actual consumption are just two different questions.
Ooh, I like it. Sam, see that? We got educated on the literary world just now.
I like that. Papa Bear, do you do what I do, which is like I'll look at the author, I'll look at the title and sort of the importance of the book, and I'll say, should this book be an audio book or should it be a purchase?
I don't like. So you're saying that the physical book rates higher for you? As in, if it is of a certain echelon,
It
it
is. It's,
deserves the physical form, and yet if it is of lesser note, then
yeah.
it should only be consumed in digital form.
Well, Papa Bear can answer, but yes.
What say you, Papa Bear? What say you?
Well, I would answer judgmental Chris this way.
Mhm.
I agree with that
Former
to an
CRB
extent, because I do have books that are so important to me or important in a certain way that I'd like to have the physical book as opposed to the digital book. So
Yeah, right.
I think
Like
that it
it's
has value, that notion.
it's like if somebody found a first edition of the Bible somehow and they said, but you can have it on audiobook, you'd be like, dude, give me the real book. Like
It depends on who you're talking to.
It's
It
like, give
depends on who you're
me,
talking,
please,
which generation
please.
you're talking to.
Yeah, it's like,
But
you don't, it doesn't
yeah.
make a difference if you hear that on audio or not. And I think the way Audible works, shout out to Audible, former sponsor of ours, come back Audible. The whole thing is they give you a bucket of credits. And so by default, the credits are worth less than the individual sort of hard copy of the book. That's all. So I mean, and Nick, look, to be fair, and again, I'm trying to be honest, even if it comes off a little. It might, like Paul Bear said, judgmental. Maybe it's offensive. Maybe it's too honest. But I'm honest on this podcast. And yes, there are certain books you want on your shelf if you have a shelf in your home. Period.
Yeah. So with that in mind, Emma, have you all ever produced a physical book out of the digital books? How does that work with your organization?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. So it's kind of like another format, right? So we're always like first launching them as an ebook, and so we can test them and like make all the changes and whatnot. And then once we feel really secure that this book is the final product, then we do release them as like paperbacks on Amazon and whatnot. Not every single title we have on Galatea does have a paperback equivalent, but like the top ones all do. And speaking like about, you want something on your bookshelf, what a lot of our users do, what I think a lot of readers do is you read the ebook first, and if you love it, you put it on your bookshelf and you come back to it in a couple of years, or you read it again, or maybe you never do, right? It's literally like a piece of art. But once you love the book, I want this to have a permanent place in my home. I want to show it off. So then you buy it for your bookcase after you've qualified that it's worth your time, basically.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sam, do you have another poll for us, by the way?
I do have another poll.
All right, drop it.
I think this one's going to be interesting too, because we're talking about new ways for literature to be adapted into television and film. But going back a little bit, what is the best TV show adapted from a book? Number one, this is a broad one, but Game of Thrones, 68%.
Yeah.
Kind of ran away with it. You'd expect it.
Feels right. Feels right. Yeah.
Number two, I didn't know that this was based on a book. So it caught me off guard a little bit, but Dexter, 19%. Then The Queen's Gambit, 6%. And again, did not know it was based on a book, tied at 6%, Gossip Girl. I tried to get a little bit of everything in here.
Right? Jason Schwartzman, the guy that did the OC, did Gossip Girl as well. Shout out to Jason Schwartzman.
It's a good mix, man.
He's a hit maker, man. Okay, so Game of Thrones is expected, right? Like
Queen's Gambit, I thought would have been a lot higher in that, but maybe
Dexter's hot right now. It's one of those that's getting clipped all over.
Dexter's
YouTube
so
shorts.
hot right now.
Yeah, recency bias. On that
exactly.
one too.
Right.
Yep.
I think they're coming back out with one, right, Sam?
Yeah, it's on the way. Another season.
So it might be recency bias because it's so hot. so anyway, also people love that show. I know a bunch of like Dexter stans. By the way, Nick, our wardrobe and person is I think a Dexter stan. Shout out to Cicely Hoffman. So these people love this murderer. What does that say, Nick, for society? that this
It's
murderer
it,
is so
yeah,
popular.
yeah. We've talked about that. That's the Loki, that's the Yago, that's all these things. It's this anti-hero type situation, but I think that there's just so much there's drama that they
Mhm.
love that we know that they love, but also there's the psychology of it. I think that's something that draws people in very much so. I mean, with the ones that we just mentioned, I'm actually just curious. So those are the ones that are hyper popular on again on TV, right? On kind of our normal cable television channels or streamers. How does that kind of translate into your world, Emma, where it's like I think you're doing primarily romance and kind of YA type content. So that's the area that those things are blowing up. So is there any like I mean, right now, so Game of Thrones, like how does that compare to the other ones, right? To be such a breakout. Is there
Mm.
something that you've seen on your platform that is a huge breakout and you can kind of put your finger on that? Now, Game of Thrones, now how many seasons did that go?
7.5 technically, right, Sam? But it was like they really drew it out. It was
I was gonna say
frustrating.
too many. I
Yeah, yeah,
I haven't seen any of these shows.
yeah.
I'm just, you know,
That was a pure profit grab right there, where they split that last season up into two. That was really
yeah.
frustrating for the viewers, and for it to end the way it ended, where it wasn't a bad finale, but it wasn't good enough to justify that split.
Mm.
Yeah, it went on too long. I
Yeah, I was
agree
just
with
wondering.
Sam.
So, but if there's anything that Emma that you've seen from the shows that you've produced, right? Like, is there something? Is there a thread that you're seeing that people are really tied into? Are there certain characters or character types that people just love and they keep coming back for every time?
Yeah, so I think like YA high school is having a very big moment for us right now. And I
Yep.
think like when we first were producing shows, we weren't doing as much high school because we thought we wanted to attract like an older audience. When I say older, like, 25 plus, just because we thought they have more money in their pockets to spend. So let's make
Yep.
sure we're creating content where the protagonists are a similar age and it's like more, relatable and all of these things. But we had a couple like really high performing books that were YA that we produced, and they've just had like runaway successes. And even though like when you run like marketing campaigns and you're spending money on performance like marketing dollars, you'll see that like the revenue per install is going to be lower because it's a younger audience, but their reach is so much higher, right? So they're going
Mm.
and they're telling their friends and they're bringing in 4 people. So if you look at it on like an overall kind of like growth perspective, these are amazing shows. But if you look at like the nitty gritty of like individual user behaviors, they're not necessarily the best. But we're really leaning into that. And like this summer, like school is ending soon, so we're making sure like it's a lot cheaper to film in schools, obviously, when school's out for summer. So we're really stacking a whole bunch of high school style shows, to make sure we're feeding that bucket a lot.
That's cool. Are there certain characters in there that you're finding are like jumping out at people? Like, do you have these, I don't know, Dexter style characters who are just, they're kind of evil, but then, they're kind of good and you can't really tell. I'm just wondering if there's like a certain character that people are really, they really love these days.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the male leads present as assholes, right? They're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
seemingly toxic or they're seemingly perturbed in some way, but then we get to know who they really are, and they are just like projecting, and they have a good heart, and at the end of the day, they're a good person. So I think that's the thing is like the first like when you're getting to know them, you're like this guy's an asshole, and then next thing you know is they're actually this very genuine, very kind of kind-hearted person. But it's
Mm.
just their defense mechanism, right? So I think that's a classic trope in romance.
Yep.
When we talk like romance YA, like obviously we're going for a consumability approach, right? Like even when we started with romance as a genre for books, we looked at like consumability of this genre, and romance readers and romance watchers will read like 300 books a year versus someone that reads a thriller or a
Wow.
sci-fi reads like 50, right? Like it's just
That's
night
so
and
many
day. So
books.
even though people maybe spend the same amount of money on a thriller, for example, because they're buying the hardback for their shelf, people who read romance are spending 99 cents per book and just like running through them. And
Wow.
so for us, like I think with like a high fantasy concept like a Game of Thrones, like as a network, that's like you're gonna do one show that's gonna bring in a lot of revenue versus we're doing a bunch of shows that have a lot of like similar themes, and we're earning that revenue by having one user watch 50 shows, not one user watch one show. And so we have a subscription model, and like I think for us it's less about let's do something crazy, but let's just create a lot of really solid parallel content to get people watching.
I like it.
Parallel
So cool.
content is a interesting phrase that I'm going to have to write down. And I wonder if you'll get a lot of creators that recognize that model and start decide to write things that are a little bit sort of, in the pocket, it might be something you guys have to head off in the future where you don't get the same story over and over again. We're lucky on this podcast because we have Papa Bear, who has a background in psychiatry, a degree in it. Papa Bear, why
Psychology.
do people
Psychology.
excuse me, psychology? I've had a little bourbon. Back off. So no, I'm just kidding. Why do people love the anti-hero, PB? What is it?
Well, as I would say, strength. The anti-hero has strength as well. It's the yin and the yang. It's evil and good, So they go together.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. Like Dexter. Going back to that, Sam. It was like people like Dexter because he kills with like there's a purpose. Like he's the good guy in the murder. Like he's killing bad
people that
people.
deserve to be killed in his mind.
in the eyes, in his mind, in the eyes of the viewer.
Yeah.
Like,
as well. Yeah.
It's the same reason people like the Punisher.
Yeah.
There's a subsect of people that, being a vigilante or stopping them with crime isn't interesting enough. You know what I mean? Getting the enemy arrested isn't interesting enough.
Batman isn't
No,
interesting,
because it makes you soft. These people are thinking too hard, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They're thinking too hard. People are, you talk to kids now and they're like, Batman's so stupid. Like, what do you mean when he's stupid? Well, because he keeps putting Joker in the asylum and he keeps getting out and he keeps having to fight him again.
Just kill Joker.
It's exactly. They're just like, kill Joker. I was like, yeah, because you don't understand that it is about this balance. It is the yin and the yang. Is that Batman and Joker have to exist in the world because they balance each other out. One can't exist without the other kind of situation. So it's a little bit different, but I get it.
And Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I get. I get the whole thing, but that's what it is. People are like, they're just stupid. Just kill these people. I'm like, ugh, brutes.
Yeah, that's right. You put those in their place. I love it. Okay, so Sam, thank you so much. These polls were incredible and very enlightening, and I think we should move on to some things we should know with producer Papa Bear. Producer Papa Bear, take it away.
Okay, and I think the first thing we should know, is that this segment is brought to you by Cotton Bureau, who sponsors our online apparel shop. And as Chris would say, we have buttery soft t-shirts and caps and hoodies and a lot of other things there. So go to our crew necks, go to our site, bonsai.film, and look for what you would like to have. And
no, not bonsai.film, PB.
No,
we're going to go to Cotton. No, it's cottonbureau.com, and you're going to search for the Make It podcast.
Okay, well, go to cottonbureau.com, and I look on bonsai.film when I want something from the shop. So,
well, there's also a shop
PB.
there. I love that. I actually like that. Yeah. So if he's not wrong, if you go to bonsai.film and go to shop, you can buy a t-shirt there.
There you go.
And you can buy a hat there.
They should go there first, right?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Bureau site. It's special because
his whiskey back.
Give Cotton Bureau their due.
Because we want to give them their due because they reject 90% of all designs. Ours is in there, and they make great clothes. They're a wonderful company, and we have all the Make It cities there in the site. So whether you're in London or Toronto or Tokyo or DC or Nashville or LA, you can wear your filmmaking journey on your chest. Emma, highly recommend you go there, check it out, get you a little t-shirt. We have the long sleeve tees. Those are my favorite. The long sleeve soft tees that have like the little Make It with the city on it. Those are awesome. Anyway, cottonbureau.com, search for the Make It podcast. PB, drop some things we should know. Okay, well, this thing we should know dovetails right into intern Sam's second poll. And I think this is probably something we may all know already. This is really an easy one. You say that every week. Well, no,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Does he not, Sam?
He does.
Uh,
I'm gonna be real. He does.
uh, I guess I do, but this
The answer is, ends up being like,
our guest
like
will get
Goldie
this.
Hawn's mother.
We'll see.
What? Okay, go
All
for
right.
it.
What
Emma's gonna get it.
Yeah. What TV show based on a book has won the most Emmy Awards in a single season?
Okay, we might have a shot at this. So,
Yeah.
who's typing right now?
Not
I hear
Based on
typing.
a book.
Sam, are you cheating?
I'm not cheating. I was
Okay.
muted.
Okay.
I was
Which?
gonna say Handmaid's Tale, but I don't know
Ooh.
if it actually.
Okay.
That's a good shout. I was gonna
Good.
say we got
Such a
4
good
here that we know are adapted.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Gossip Girl. I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Handmaid's Tale. I'm going to write down Handmaid's Tale. By the way, they need to bring that show home. They need to bring it home.
I didn't know it wasn't ended, and then I've been seeing all this promo saying it's
Not
last
ended.
season.
It's on right now. They need to wrap it up, B. Okay,
It's all
so
filmed in my hometown in Cambridge, Canada. So
Oh,
you see,
lovely.
like, the
Oh,
women
cool.
walking
That's
through
a thing we
bonnets
should
and
know.
stuff, and women hanging from the bridge and stuff. It's pretty cool.
that is a
That's crazy. That's a crazy sight. That's a crazy sight.
I love
It is
the
crazy.
I love the turn of phrase there, Emma. Thank you for that. That was good.
Mm.
Okay, so Handmaid's Tale for Emma. Sam, you got a guess?
I'm still thinking.
Okay, Nick, what about you, sir?
It's PB, so I'm kind of like,
Modern
it
Family.
can't be one of. It can't be. As
I'd read Modern Family.
I would totally. And
I love
They've won a
Modern
ton
Family.
of
when he
Emmys.
said it won that many Emmys, that's literally the first show that came to my mind was Modern Family. But I know it's not based on a book. But in a single season, dang it, I want to say it's Queen's Gambit. That's because it's like the one that was the lowest on your list.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna say Queen's Gambit.
Nick's got
that
Queen's
was a
Gambit.
great series. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
love
show.
and
that
it was,
show.
but there was so much. There were so many things in it that were Emmy award worthy.
Yeah.
So
It really
I'll give it to
launched.
Queen's Gambit.
It really launched Anna Joy's career, and it made my kids love chess.
Yeah, it brought about the chess renaissance.
Yeah, there's
bit
like
there.
a chess renaissance going
I
on.
learned how to play from it.
Even the kids
around
I
that time.
don't know, like they were into it. Like the ones I had in Zimbabwe, they love
Sam,
chess.
whatever. Yeah, Sam over there in his bed looking up at the ceiling.
Yeah, trying to get out trying to figure out the move. PB, I'm gonna go because I know PB. He's got these tricks now, Emma. He's got these tricks. They're guessing modern. I'm guessing not. I'm gonna go with Murder, She Wrote, based on the Agatha Christie series of books.
Wow.
What is it, PB?
Okay. Wait, did Sam get a guess?
He said Gossip Girl.
Yeah,
He was
Sam.
He wants to
thinking.
say it. Gossip Girl.
I'm gonna do a weird guess just for the fun of it.
Okay.
Something different, and I think that we could count it if it falls into this category. I don't even know if it's won an Emmy, but it's hot on my mind. We're gonna say Daredevil, comic book.
Daredevil.
Okay.
All right. So just to review
It's a
before
book.
PB reveals it, we've got Sam with Daredevil, we've got Nick with The Queen's Gambit, we've got me with Murder, She Wrote, and we've got Emma with Handmaid's Tale. Papa Bear, what is the answer?
In 2024,
Oh my God!
Shogun extended its single season record for Emmy wins from 14
Interesting.
It's both.
18.
It's now and in the past. Oh my God!
They have the
Wow.
single
Wow.
season record. Game of Thrones has the overall record over the course of their 8 seasons. But for a single season record, Shogun.
How many?
The Shogun is up to 18
Wow.
total wins. They previously held the record with 14, just over HBO's 2008 miniseries John Adams, which won 13 awards in one season.
John Adams was great.
So
Random.
Highly recommend.
Sam,
Paul Giamatti.
Oh, okay.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
He
Wow,
is so
Shogun.
good. When I close my eyes, PB, and think of John Adams, I see Paul Giamatti's face. I don't even see the real John Adams. That's how good
It
he
just
was.
happens to me normally. When I close my eyes, I see Paul Giamatti's
You see Paul Giamatti's
face.
face?
that's scary. I would never close my
One,
eyes.
two.
No, it's wonderful. I
I'm coming
appreciate it
for
every
you.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
You know, Paul
Tells you what kind of
Giamatti.
person he
Here's how
is.
you know Paul Giamatti is like a top 1% actor, Nick. He gets in sex scenes and you totally buy it. You're like, he can be like the object of like desire in a show or a movie, and you're like, yeah, I'd sleep
Sure.
with him.
I don't know if I'd say that, but
Well, Sam
good on
sees
you.
him in his sleep. I would sleep with him. That's 2 out of 5 here. Okay.
Yeah,
Shout out
2
to
out of
Paul
5.
Giamatti. Keep doing your thing. Keep being your sexy self. Papa Bear, thank you so much. That is definitely a thing we should know. Shout out to Shogun. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
Let's pay some bills, Nick. Can we pay some bills?
Yeah, let's pay some bills.
Hey everybody, I'm excited to share today's sponsor with you. It's Insta360, the leader in 360-degree camera tech. They've just dropped their latest flagship, the Insta360 X5. And let me tell you, this camera is a game changer for creators, adventurers, or anyone who loves capturing life's moments. They maybe even make a podcast. We use the old Insta360 cameras, right? And we're really excited about this new one. It's pretty great. It shoots stunning 8K 360-degree video, so you're capturing every angle in incredible detail, day or night, thanks to its larger sensors and amazing low light performance. One of my favorite features is the invisible selfie stick. So this is a selfie stick that when you use it, it disappears. So it gives your footage this look of like shooting from a drone, right? This sort of jaw-dropping third-person shot that looks like you have like a really expensive 8K drone flying above. You can do that with this invisible selfie stick. So that's great for action shots or epic travel vlogs. I just did a travel video. Let me tell you, I know all about this. Plus, with 360-degree video, you can shoot first and point later. So here's how it works. You just record everything, right? And then you pick your best angles in the 360 Insta360 app. And with the AI powered reframing tools, you can just get sort of the shot you want, or what we call in filmmaking punching in, if you wanted to punch in on the angle that you like. It's so easy to get the exact shot you want, right? Every time. So here's the kicker. The X5 is built tough with replaceable lenses. Now, this is a first for this industry and that I know of. Maybe it's not, but most of the time when you get like a miniature camera from places, like you cannot replace the lenses. With this one, you can replace the lenses. It's got a huge 2400 milliamp battery, and it lasts up to 185 minutes. So you can just keep shooting without worry.
That's awesome, dude. So,
Yeah.
I have to say, you mentioned it earlier, the fact that we use, you said the older Insta360.
Yeah.
Man, we love the Insta360. And that's why we're talking about it today, because they continue to iterate. That's the thing. There's a lot of different Insta360s today. We're talking about the X5 because it's super awesome and it just dropped.
Mhm.
But we're talking about it because we are Insta360 users, have been for a long time. We support it and check it. If you love the Make It podcast, you love what we do, you love this crisp and clean aesthetic that we bring to you, then we're here to let you know that it's brought to you by Insta360. So this is just the next iteration in creation.
That's right. That's right. So look, we've sold you hard on this, right? You're going to get one, right? Like obviously you want to test it out. Okay. If you're film nerds, camera nerds like we are, here's an exclusive deal. You go to store.insta360.com, use our promo code, make it. You see it on the shirt, right? Really easy. MAKEIT. That's the promo code. And when you do that and use our promo code, you can get a free invisible selfie stick. So the thing I was telling you about earlier, you can get that for free. But here's the deal. They're only giving this away to the first 30 buyers. So don't wait. Just check the links in our show notes for more details, and you can just get creating right away. Again, it's store.insta360.com. First 30 buyers get a free invisible selfie stick when they get the standard X5 package. Be sure to use the promo code Make It. And Nick, let's go back to the show.
Let's do it.
Now we are back to the show, and I want to turn it to my main man, Nicholas Bugs, Nicholas K. Bugs,
There you
Nicholas
go.
Kenya. Nicholas Kenya, all up in you.
Kenya, lead us into the next segment, which I'll go ahead and do.
Nicholas Kenya, lead us to the next segment.
There you go.
Oh no, we can't. Listen. He dropped a crazy tweet this week. Nick's not gonna let me say it.
No, leave him alone.
Everybody out there, just Google it. Nick, can you please give us some filmmaker Q&A?
Yeah.
Actually, don't Google it so you can enjoy the previous albums.
Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna leave it alone, and I'm gonna let people know that, of course, with our segments are sponsored, and I love it, because we're offering such goodness out there. And this segment is sponsored by Mastering Film Marketing, which is a book that we've authored here. Bonsai Creative, Make It podcast, inspired by a former guest as well. And Mastering Film Marketing is all about helping folks market their independent films. So again, inspired by one of our former guests, Jim Frederick, who's done some amazing things throughout the history of Hollywood. We were inspired by a conversation we had with him where he shared all these tips and tricks, and we said we need to expand and expound upon that for our audience. So we created a very short ebook that's available through our beacons, which you can find the link down below, and you can find the link in our YouTube channel. So check it out, Mastering Film Marketing. So with that, I'm going to twist it over here, and we're going to go into the filmmaker Q&A. But today, this is more of a writer's Q&A because we got Emma Toner here to help us out. So I got a couple quick questions. So the first one is really simple, which is, how do you know if you're a good writer?
Yeah, I think that's my big
Good question.
I mean, I think my big advice is show people your work. I think a lot of people get really precious and they really they don't let anyone read it. And how you know if you're on the right track is just getting eyeballs on it. And I think the more eyeballs, the better, right? And so I think put it out there and see if people like it, see if people comment, see if people are encouraging you. I think most people can be a good writer, right? I don't think it's this natural, this impossible thing to be. You just have to train the muscle. And so I think once you do get it out there and you start getting encouraging words, it gives you the confidence to just keep on writing. So I'd say get eyeballs on your work, and then you're going to gain that confidence and just keep doing it. I think anyone can be a writer. I really firmly do believe that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really exciting for people who are just sitting there, who are writing and like you said, aren't ready to get it out there because they feel like they're not good enough yet. And I think one of the cool things that I learned about your platform is that sometimes being on the platform helps people level up because they're going to get that feedback that can potentially get them to that next level. So with that in mind, I was thinking about so what are the 3 most important apps that writers should have?
I mean, I'm going to say Inkit, obviously. I think Inkit is great, especially for new writers, right? I think Scribd is a really good one as well. Really great for helping yourself with your editing and keeping track of your different storyboards or however you like to write. It's a great organizational tool. And then maybe, I'm going to put Grammarly maybe is a no-brainer, some kind of editing one that will just help you stay on track. I think a lot of people get lost in the nitty-gritty, and if you just have a Grammarly or an extension that just kind of cleans it up for you, it will make you so much faster, right? So you have an extension or an app that will just, you can write 10 times as fast if you're not going back and changing things, get out of that creative flow, because Grammarly is just doing your editing for you. And I think I'll sneak in a fourth. I think every good writer is also a reader. So I would say a reader-based app as well.
I wonder what kind of reader-based apps might be out there. Is there like Inkit again? Is this like popping up again on our list here? And
And
Galatea, like these.
maybe Galatea is a good one. It
Yeah.
definitely is it's reading what you write, right? So if you're a romance writer, I think Galatea is the best spot to be, right? Because it's all romance, it's all very similar content to what you're writing. There's obviously different apps for different genres and whatnot. So maybe on a fanfiction.net or something like that if you're writing more sci-fi. But I think if you're trying to read what you're writing, I think Galatea is the best spot for romance.
Nice. I love that. And then when you say like, so you get your stuff out there, do you have to wait to finish before you get it out there? Or is it just, do you put out the first paragraph? Do you put what's the best way to just get it out there so you can get that feedback and kind of keep going forward? Because we always say share your stuff, but I know we don't really mean like share it with your boyfriend, share it with your girlfriend, share it with your mom. Like, don't just share it with the people who are going to be like, you're doing such a great job. We need to really get it out there so people can actually critique you but critique you in a good way. So what do you think about that? Like, when do you actually put the first piece of work out there? First chapter, first 3 chapters? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd say probably like 3 to 5. I think you don't want just to be like world building, right? You need something to happen. You need to introduce your 2 protagonists or your 3 protagonists, like whoever are the key characters. You need to have revealed some sort of you need to see who they are, right? So I think you want to make sure that by the time you put out your first chunk, that we get to meet like in romance, like the male and female protagonist in some capacity, and there ideally is some kind of hook that people can understand, and it's not just a blanket like anything could happen. You want to directly know where it's going. But most people will set the tone, I'd say, in the first 3, 5, 7 chapters.
Okay. Got it. All right. So I've got another one. What is the happiness scale for writers?
The happiness scale.
In terms of like milestones that will they want to achieve. So I think for every writer, obviously their first review is huge. When people get a review, that's like a huge moment for them in terms of continuing to write. It's a huge foundational moment. As I got my first review, people are actually liking what I'm making, right? Or hating what I'm making. It's some kind of like indication that people are interacting with your content. After that, obviously, getting a publishing deal is great. I think then holding their physical book in their hands is a huge one for writers. And then lastly is, every author dreams of eventually having a movie or a TV show or something visual created with their products. So I'd say those are like, for the new writer, like that first review is huge. And obviously, like compared to a movie deal, it sounds small, but it's the first signal that like you're on the right track. And then I'd say, holding your book and getting to watch your book come to life would be like the big ones.
That's awesome. So you're basically, so for Galatea, you have the whole scale, is what you're saying.
We're trying to hit We're trying to hit all the milestones. When I actually first started working at Inkit, 8.5 years ago, I started as I was working really close with authors. I don't even remember my title. I was like a publishing manager or something. And I had a KPI for myself, which was author happiness. And I basically built this dorky scale where I was like judging on a scale of 1 to 10 how happy our authors were. And if they dipped below like 80% happiness score, I would like intervene and I would become more involved with them. And certain authors would want more one-on-one time, so we'd have more one-on-one time. Other authors would want some kind of like personal growth or development, so we signed them up for a class or a course. And like so many of them just wanted to be part of the community. So it was as simple as like sending them a note on the 1-year anniversary after their book launched, or sending them flowers on their birthday or something like that. So I think understanding that author happiness is something that's always really kind of baked into my day-to-day.
That's cool. Again, your happiness scale is something that you've measured as milestones, but you've also kind of measured to make sure that your community remains engaged and getting better, right? And if they're getting engaged, they're getting better at what they do, then there's the other happiness scale, they'll be able to realize that, right? Which is, again, is a very cool ecosystem.
I guess also like obviously the first royalty check is huge, like when they earn a royalty. And we have like my favorite stories is like I would get and getting an email that's like, hey, I just quit my job and I now am a full-time author is like one of the best feelings in the world. When people can transition to just writing as their career is really special. We have an author, Emily, who actually we were just in LA filming her show Secrets of Sin, and she got a full Inkit tattoo. Huge tattoo of our logo and our name,
what's
and it's
Emily's
so in
last
your
name?
face. So her author name is EJ Lace.
EJ Lace. Shout out to EJ Lace.
Yeah. EJ Lays.
Congrats to
Yeah.
her,
And
man.
so I
So
think,
cool.
yeah, that was a huge milestone for me, but that's a huge indication of her happiness, right? Is that eagerness to tattoo our brand on her arm.
Yeah.
And for her, it was like, she had asked me for like a PNG of, like our logo. And I sent her this small little thing. And she's like, no, I want it bigger. I want to say Inkit's full name on it. Like it was kind of like her love letter to us. So she's like, I don't want like just the little logo. I want to like it to say, I want everyone to see this, to know that I'm like a representation of your brand. It was pretty cool.
So what you're saying is that she inked it.
She inked it big time.
All right, Nick, you're off the show.
Hey,
Nick,
I gotta
Nick,
put on bump. You know what I'm
That's it.
saying? You gotta get that,
Yeah.
get that in there. Okay, so I got the last one here. I think is really important to us. We're having these conversations about new and modern technologies all the time. So the question is, what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to incorporating AI into your writing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's obviously a huge topic right now, right? I
Yeah.
think AI can be so helpful in terms of enabling writers, right? And in terms of setting people up. And I'm really excited about kind of this idea of new types of stories being written. I think like a lot of stories are retellings. We hear the same thing over and over again. I think like allowing people who don't have the standard capacity to put pen to paper access to write a novel is going to be really cool, and we're going to see some really unique ideas come out of that. So I do really support the idea of using AI to like open that funnel and to allow literally anyone to be able to write in however they need to write that, right? I think there's obviously boundaries that need to be put in place, and there's certain like plagiarism things that need to be put in place,
Yep.
and you don't want to allow people to use other authors' work in order to like write their own work. I think we did a feature in Galatea recently, not recently, like maybe 9 or 10 months ago now, which was a kind of like a fan fiction one-shot creator. So if we could just go and they could like type in certain components and write their own story, but that was that algorithm was being fed through our existing content. So we just made sure that authors were getting paid. So authors
okay.
were getting a cut of us building that AI generated feature. So I think there's ethical ways that you need to do it, and we want to make sure that we're just like involving creators in that pot of any revenue that's being generated through AI. It also comes into play a lot on like the film TV side of things as well, right? Which is, when we first started making these shows, kind of post strike, and everyone was like really nervous about AI and freaking out. We had like asked, our actors if we could have like the AI rights to their voices for ads, so we could like do voiceovers and whatnot. And a year ago, it was like absolutely not. People hated the idea. Now it's baked into every contract, and they're signing it really like freely. Obviously, there's certain boundaries, like we can't make them say anything that's like homophobic or racist or like slanderous or whatever.
Right.
But we can write an ad and have them say something they didn't say, and that's totally okay now. And so I think when it comes to eventually creating content, like full video content through AI, I want to make sure we do it in a way where it's like, if we're using an actor's likeness, they're still getting paid their day rate, right? And so the benefit to us is we can produce shows a lot faster and get them out a lot quicker, but these actors are still getting paid as if they showed up for the day. So I think there are certain boundaries put in place to make it really advantageous for everyone involved, hopefully.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a lot there, and I'm really curious to see how your audience even reacts to the AI generated actor, because I think that there's still the desire there to see real people, right? Not just the AI generated version of those people, because it does bring the realism to it, right? It takes that person that they had in their head and kind of again gives it's real texture. And I think that maybe again in the AI space we're getting to this place where you won't be able to tell. But I think that maybe we're also being in the space where we're supposed to disclose. So if you know it's AI generated, do you have the same feeling? Do you have that same connection to it that you would for an actual actor? And I know that for us, many times we have the conversation here. We're like, I don't want to see that, right? I kind of want to see if there's an AI augmentation, right? Because there was something that happened in the shot that we had to fix or correct.
Like
I
the
get it,
brutalist,
right? Yeah, you use it as a tool to correct things, but not as the lead in. Then I think that's, that for me feels more authentic and natural to it. But we'll see. Like you said, you're kind of pulling the audience with all of this stuff, and we'll see what they're into.
The first thing that's going to happen is that is that you're going to use AI to take the novels and put them in screenplay format. That just makes natural, perfect sense. That's just going to happen. Sorry, that's just there's no it's so much money saved that you just, as a tech company, you wouldn't be able to ignore that. That's just going to be the case. But yeah, I think Sam's with you. I'm with you. Like, I think um there's a desire to sort of see a true human emotion. Now, to your point, Nick, will we eventually get to a place where we can't tell the difference? I assume so. I assume that everything that is in the realm of the Overton window of AI will happen. So, you know,
Yeah, it's gonna hurt me, man, because I'm like, I can't tell what's real anymore. Like
well,
that's gonna be the
yeah,
challenge. It's
no,
like I just
it's
don't
huge, Nick.
know.
It's like
Ugh.
where we're at, right? Where we were at 10 years ago, 20 years ago was the tech is moving faster than we can write the rules, right?
Yep.
So the best thing we have right now, for example, if somebody takes a picture and you're in the background, do they have to tell you they're going to post it on Snapchat before they do that? There's certain people, we have a rule. It's like, hey, is it cool if I post this? Or the main thing is like, between friends, is it cool if I post this? That's like a normal sentence. Sam, tell me if I'm lying here, or if I'm wrong, if I'm misrepresenting. That's like a normal thing between young people. Hey, is it cool if
Yeah.
I post this?
Yep.
It moves so fast that young people had to make that rule before Congress could put it into a law or something. Will there eventually be a disclosure law around posting when the whole world is the internet? Probably. Probably. Will there be a disclosure for AI? Probably. Will the next billionaire be the person who can develop tech that can tell you whether something was written or video or picture is AI or not? Yes. But it's just moving. We're not there yet. So, and so all the money can be made in the moments in between those things. Basically, the moment between discovery of new tech and regulation of that tech. All the money, all the profit happens in that gap, and that's where we're at. So there's a lot of panning for gold right now, and we're here enjoying it, man. It's like we're in it. There are things we agree with, disagree with, but that's what it is panning for gold right now. Anyway, back to you, Nick. Filmmaker Q&A.
Yeah, no, and that was it. I think that's kind of like every step, each of those questions, I think really opens or helps to open the eyes of our audience who are writers out there. I think one of the things you said, Emma, about like everyone could be a writer.
Yeah.
I think that's really important because I think deep down, I think people want to be in some aspect. I mean, even it comes down to the little simple things like, I don't know, writing a birthday card, right? People are so quick to buy something because they don't think
Yeah.
they have the words to write. But I think that now through the advent of AI, through these other tools, through feedback loops that you can get, through these various apps, you can test it out. Like you don't have to be as afraid anymore. And the barrier to entry is so much lower.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I hope, our audience who's listening, who's ever thought that, hey, I'd love to do that, but it's too hard. It's not too hard. And the main thing is, like Emma said, it's like, just write. Like do the
Yeah.
thing that you
Yeah.
set out to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Don't be
Yeah.
afraid, write, and then put it out there into the world, and you'll be surprised the feedback that you can get back. And then, as again, back to you, Emma, this idea that you could start from the reader, turn into the writer,
Mhm.
then have a TV show, and then have a feature film.
And then have a
But
job. I wonder if writing
but
will
what
become
it
a gig
took
economy job, Nick.
was writing, right? But what it took was just taking the first step to write something, right? It's like what's on the other side of fear? You don't know, right? It's just let's
Nothing.
go,
Nothing.
let's go. Yeah.
Usually nothing. Go ahead, Sam.
I actually have a question for Emma, and it relates to the AI topic. Do you all have like a vetting process to ensure that someone isn't just registering like an AI generated story to
Yeah.
your platform?
We don't right now, no. In theory, someone could have written it with AI. We obviously, like when we sign a contract with them, we're asking these questions. But yeah, in theory, someone could for sure
It's a
Is
great
that
point.
put a
something
story
that
up
you
there. We're
guys?
not having any.
are
I don't
looking
know
at?
yet. Like, I think it's something we talk about and something we're like, yeah, we toy with. Um, but yeah, I don't know yet. Like, I think if someone also comes in and does write an AI generated story that's amazing and we can like confirm that it's not plagiarism, like I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with AI supported story. So it's just like it's hard to say anything concretely right now because it's just changing every day and we're talking about it on a daily basis. And I think, yeah, we'll see. It's quite interesting though, because I think readers are starting to become nervous that things are AI or they're starting to like suspect it. And so we'll have people writing to like support and be like on Galatea, for example, and be like, I think this story's AI. And we're like, oh no, it's definitely not. Like an in-house writer wrote that season of that book. And like we can tell you for
Yeah.
sure it was written by a human, but people are like programmed to be like, oh my God, that one sentence felt weird. AI must have written this. So I think there is certain levels of like disclosure you want to do, or be like, hey, we swear this is a human, or do we put their picture or something like that? Because people, when they read something that they don't, yeah, they're just really suspicious. Everyone's suspicious of everything these days.
It's a great question, Sam. And to your point, Emma, it leans to this idea. What you're saying to me leans towards this thought of, in the long run, will it even matter? Like, does it, like the question we have to ask ourselves is, does it matter if AI wrote it in the long run? Or are we living in a time where it just matters to us, like in this sort of 10-year birth of AI span? And, for me, I like to think, hey, writing is a really tough craft made super simple by AI in some ways. And so I like it to be by a human, but I have to be objective enough to say, in 20 years, will anybody notice? Will it matter at all? And what really matters then is the model, and will that drive the price of writing, down quite a bit, right? Like today in film, if you are at the studio level and you write a movie that's greenlit, as a screenwriter, you're going to make $1 million. Okay. So, what you're offering is, hey, make a great story. I can't give you $1 million up front for it, but you might make $1 million through the scale, economy of scale, and through what you're providing from a technological standpoint. So writers might get $1 million either way. We'll see how it plays out. One thing, Emma, I have said to my team, and I say it ad nauseum a little bit, is, hey, lean in on your copywriting skills, because today people will know if an email was AI, because AI hasn't gotten there yet, where it's like people know when you wrote an AI email. And so if you use your copywriting skills, you use weird words that AI wouldn't use, and they immediately know you really wrote it and they appreciate it. Right. And so maybe AI will catch on to that and start doing that. But there,
If it starts to
but
recommend flippity
yeah,
gibbet to me,
yeah.
I'm gonna know that it's learned me too much. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
learned
Like,
it's learned you too much, right? There's all these things we just don't have the answer to. There's a phenomenon out there where it's like, if AI is learning from itself for too long, and Emma, you might actually know the technical answer to this. If AI is learning from itself too long, and then it just spits out what it's learned from itself, that could be
Does it grow?
Stagnates.
that could destroy AI in a way, the
It
value of it.
stagnates creativity. When you're pulling from things that are pulling from other things, eventually you end up with nothing, no innovation. It just
Right. It's like it's a infinite
it's a
feedback
closed
loop.
circle.
Yeah, closed
Closed
circle.
circle. Yeah, because what creativity does is it expands that circle. It kind of goes in an infinity loop or whatever. And so when you do that, it can close the circle off.
Have you heard of this? There's a lot of people talking about this. Emma, have you heard of that out there? This idea of like what happens when all information is AI based, or like 80-90% of it, because Bloomberg's already writing entire articles. AP, Reuters is already writing entire articles AI.
No, I haven't looked much into it. I think it sounds like a future us problem like
yeah, right.
right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, but I think it's also one of
She'll
those
have to
where I
come
think
back on our
they're
podcast every
yeah,
year
but
to
but
give us
there's
an
but
update.
there's content. Yeah, there's content
Yeah.
that they're using to create that content. So that's the other part of it is that, and back to what Sam is saying, it's like when when these the news outlets are doing it, they're sourcing the material from somewhere, and they're just putting a slight spin, not even spin on it, but they're making slight adjustments to that using AI to just respit out the same story, which is, kind of, we're not talking about that here in this space where you're talking about the more narrative storytelling and fiction writing. But I think that we definitely can't cut our eye, if you will, at the idea of augmentation, right? AI augmented storytelling, because as we know, we've heard a lot of people say it. It's like, now with AI, you don't have to start with a blank page. Like, that's huge. You don't have to suffer from writer's block for as long, because you have this tool that you can use to break you out of that. So I think that, yes, it's going to be a tool that is very common as the internet itself, that is going to help people be better at what they were doing before, or enter into a world that they've never been in before. So I don't think we should necessarily, look at it like it's, completely a bad thing. I think the bad thing is when it's automated from the beginning, right? If the bot is just writing it, but there's no human input, that's the challenge. That's what we don't want to see, where the machine is just churning things out on its own, as opposed to, augmenting the genius and the innovation of the human.
Yeah.
I also use AI a lot to like make myself seem less educated. Like, what's the opposite of like an
That's interesting.
augmentation?
Hey, that's
Yeah,
good.
I wanted
that's
to
good. Yeah.
like I wanted to leave a comment on like an Instagram post of an influencer who was promoting us. And I was like, I sound way too old and like standard and all these things. So I wrote what I wanted to say to ChatGPT. I was like, make me sound like Gen Z and young. And it's like shortened it, put all these crazy like things and emojis. And I was like, perfect. I sound like everyone else in the comments.
Yeah.
So I was able to like, bring me to a playing field where I was like, I was speaking the same language as everyone else in those comments. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think like,
You use
if
it
you
as a
just give it the
translator.
right kind of direction, exactly what
Yeah.
you're looking for.
Yeah,
Exactly.
basically that's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's
Nick, it's
that's perfect.
translation. Yeah. We've
Yeah,
been
and what's
using
funny about
Grammarly
that,
since
Emma,
2017, right, Nick? Like, we were super early with
yeah, what's
Grammarly.
funny about that is that I find that I'm very formal in my writing too, and it's so funny because I'm inclined not to use
Yeah.
contractions. So I'm always like, it is the thing, right? And it's like, I gotta make that it's so funny, but that's actually a really good use case for it, is just write the
100%.
way you're gonna write, and let the tool edit it for you, as opposed to, because I have to do that. I'll go back through and I'm like, change that to a contraction, change that to a contraction. But it's a great use case for it. I love it.
That was a great filmmaker Q&A, Nick. I appreciate that. And I've learned so much from you, Emma, during that. And one thing I think might take off from that last comment, Nick, is like purposeful misspelling. That's an interesting thing that I've seen a few people do that have newsletters, actually, where
You
there'll
won't
be
get
a
that from me.
misspelling into on. No, you will not. But you've been an AI for a long time, my friend. You've been an
This
AI
is
for a
true.
long time. Emma, this is what happens when your mother's a school teacher, like especially English.
Yep.
You don't get to make misspellings, and you don't use contractions, and therefore you don't sound human.
Yeah, or when your
Sorry,
teacher
Nick.
was a nun, right? Like, that's
No, I'm kidding. I kid. I love you, Nick. I'm messing with you. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's all good.
My mom is also a teacher.
we have
There you
two
go.
non-contraction users here.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, like I said, when your mother's a teacher or your teacher is a nun, like
Your
you
teacher
just
is a nun.
Yeah.
You're gonna be. Yeah, I think the second one has a lot more consequences. Anyway, moving on. A shout out to Catholics. Okay, and RIP to Pope Francis. Okay,
Yeah.
we've come to the moment, Emma. You've been so wonderful with your time, your answers, so genuine. Can you tell us what it means to make it? What to you, I should say, what to you does it mean to make it?
So for me, definitely like this place where I am working really closely with authors, with creators, with all these things. Um, my favorite thing in the world is when I run into someone on the street and they know that content and they know our products, whatever, right? One of my favorite stories was last year. We were at a bar down the road from our office. We went to play trivia and we made our trivia name one of our book titles, which is My Sexy Stepbrother is a Werebear. And so we made that our title, and someone else that was just in the bar was like, oh my God, I love that book, right? And she came over and started talking to us. It was really cool to see just like someone in the wild engaging in that way. So for me, that success is like not just one person like in a bar one time. This maybe happens to me every 6 months, but like every person I talk to knows our content, knows our IP, and is telling that story, right? And I think like today they can like access that content in books, audiobooks, TV shows, but eventually I want people to be able to access that however they want, right? So if they play video games or they wear the t-shirt or they ride the roller coaster, like I want everyone and their mother to be able to find and enjoy our content in a very comfortable, shareable, talkable way. So I think for me, that success is just like anyone I talk to on the street and say, what are you watching? What are you reading? What are you playing? That I can connect the dots back to like our universes.
What a cool answer, because in essence, what you're saying is making it might be the recognition of your work out in the world. And it's a really cool moment. There's been a few of those. We're just a small podcast, but there's been a few moments where I think maybe all of us have gone out into public and they're like, hey, I know you from somewhere. And it's like, it doesn't happen very often for us, and it's going to happen a lot more for your authors and for your content for sure. But you're right. There's a moment of, okay, I'm something we're doing is working. Something I'm doing is working. So there are people out there that are actually real. And I think a lot of times you just want that connection too. Like, I know someone out there is reading this content, but who are they? What are they? How do I build a better avatar for them? Like, to see somebody out there in the world that says it's cool. So that's pretty dope. You know what else is dope? You are dope. Everything that you're doing is pretty cool. We're going to be keeping tabs on this as we go, and we'd love to have you back whenever you'd like to come back, because I think you're at the cutting edge, you're at the bleeding edge of where creative is going, and you're sort of creating a new path, a new way for creators to keep creating in a world that's, for the creator, I have to tell you, is feeling like an existential nightmare a little bit, and you're creating a path that's a bright light. So thank you for that. For everyone listening and watching, can you tell everybody where they can find you on the internet, follow you on social, all the things?
Yeah, if you just like search on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you are for like Galatea, Galatea, or Galatea TV, Inkit, we have accounts everywhere. I think if you're looking to like dip your toes into our content, Instagram or TikTok is like the place to go for Galatea and Galatea TV. We post, 10 or so episodes of all of our shows there for free, so you can really go and see if it's for you before you install the app and go and take that next step. Yeah, we're everywhere.
I love that, Sam. Let's make sure we follow those places on Instagram. And for everyone listening and watching, Inkit is spelled Inkitt. So you're going to put that extra T on there for Inkit, a really great name as well. And if you are interested in learning more about us, well, guess what? If you're already watching this, you know where to find us on YouTube. And if you're listening to this, you already know where to listen to us. But why not mix it up a little bit? Maybe those listening on Apple and Spotify, you can go to YouTube, search for the Make It Podcast. You'll find us there, and we are fun to watch. And if you're watching us and you're on that long commute, why don't you head over to Apple, Spotify, give us 5-star review, and search for the Make It Podcast, and we will come right up. By the way, I should mention that you should like and subscribe on YouTube as well. That makes a huge difference for discoverability and the success of this pod. So if you like this pod, you want to see us keep going, that is the easiest, most inexpensive, most efficient step you can possibly take, is to like and subscribe to the Make It Podcast on YouTube. If you want to get in touch with Nick, you can email him at nick@bonsai.film. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on X at Chris Barkley. Well, actually, just search for Chris Barkley, or I'm at Flame in Your Heart, and either one will come right up. We answer 100% of our DMs on social, so you can follow us at _Make It Podcast on Instagram and TikTok and on X. Just type us anything, engage with us there. We will definitely respond. Like I said, we do that 100% of the time. You can also leave us a message on our community page on YouTube. And again, we respond to 100% of those comments. We love it. Keep the engagement going. We love what we're building over there on YouTube platform and all these social media platforms. Previously mentioned, Papa Bear talked about our Cotton Bureau deal. We have apparel. He said it was buttery. He's not wrong. T-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, and awesome caps. What a wonderful company Cotton Bureau is. They've been doing it for a long time. We're in their shop. Go to cottonbureau.com, search for the Make It Podcast, and our gear will come right up. Uh, we have awesome downloads for you on. Are they on our homepage yet, Nick, or do they have to go to Beacons directly?
I don't know. Just check out Beacons. You can get access to everything from our webpage too. But Beacons, check us out. Just again, go to the YouTube channel. All of our Beacons links are available there. So
100%. There you
check
go.
us out there. And of
Thank you.
course, down below. That's where all the links are. Down below.
Yeah.
That's the deal
Down
these
below.
days.
So if you go to YouTube, you'll see it'll say Beacons AI Make It Podcast. You click on that. We have a few free downloadables for you. The marketing for filmmakers that Nick wrote. Kudos to you, Nick. That's completely free. Is it still free, or are we charged for that yet, Nick?
If you've got a cool little coupon code, it's for free.
Okay, so it's not free. It's $5, right? $4.99.
You
Okay,
got
not free, but worth every penny. $4.99. Download that book, and let me just tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. This is Chris being honest with you. Your film is not going to be successful without marketing.
Amen.
If you're making a $500,000 movie and you have $20,000 for marketing, you have planned to fail. Don't do that. Get the book, figure out the right budget, figure out how to do it, the right steps, and it's all backed up by guests on this podcast that have given us the knowledge to put that book together. So do download it. We also have all the Oscar nominees scripts from this year. Honora, Brutalist, Conclave, you name it. We've aggregated them into one downloadable package. You can download all 10 of those, and you can learn what a Oscar-winning screenplay looks like, how it reads, how it flows. And then maybe you can hop on Emma's site and then do something with that newfound skill and then get paid for doing that as a new creator as she makes a movie out of it, potentially, right? It all connects. Okay. With that being said, thank you again, Emma. And Nick, can you please leave us with the credo?
Yep, of course. And yeah, I have to say thank you, Emma. This was great. I think it's just not just because of what you're doing with your platform, but what you're doing with your time. I think that the whole happiness scale thing is really cool. The fact that you're actually interested in the joy, the happiness of the authors themselves is huge, because that is a little bit almost antithetical to the idea of a tech company doing something, right? We often think that the tech takes the soul out of the human. And it looks like you're very much interested in the soul of the human. You're really interested in the journey of the writer. You're interested in the journey of the reader. You're interested in the journey of the audience. Like, it is an ecosystem that is really about the people that contribute to it in so many different ways. And it is just a breath of fresh air to hear that from someone who's got this tech company that is supporting this work. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. Thank you for the time. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. And of course, I have to say to our friends, our filmmaking fans, our audience out there, be better, be creative, be engaged.
And thank you for listening. Nick, Emma, talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, man. This is great. Appreciate it, Emma. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Papa Bear, Nick, Sam, love you. Be good.
Love you guys.
Peace.